Westell, the industry leader in intelligent site management, presents the Remote Installation video series. This is video 1, focusing on installation of a Westell Remote Intelligent Site Management device. The Intelligent Site Management installation process begins before you arrive at the site. You should review the site survey or other site documentation for rack, power, device port, and alarm input assignments so you are properly equipped and prepared to perform the remote installation. You also need to know local electrical codes and installation standards and applicable company methods of procedure. A Methods of Procedure document is sometimes called a MOP. You are encouraged to read the Westell Installation Guide for the remote model you are installing. This lists all of the tools and materials you may need, important safety warnings and precautions, and step-by-step installation instructions. Once you have reviewed the documentation, you should verify that the remote hardware shipment is correct and complete. Any problem with a shipment needs to be reported to Westell customer service promptly. One other step you can do off or on site is install the SIM card if the remote will be using wireless communications. To prevent electrostatic damage, you should wear a grounding wrist strap throughout this entire installation process. To install the SIM card, remove the remote cover by removing the screws on the top and back and lifting the back. Locate the SIM holder behind the phone module. Insert the card and snap the holder into place. If you need to install a phone module in the remote, that also should be done while you have the cover off. Follow the detailed instructions provided in your remote model's installation guide. Make sure that the phone module and antenna connections are secure. Once that is done, you can slide the cover back into place and secure it with the screws. You are now ready to mount the remote in the rack. The remote and the mounting ears and tie bars supplied with it are designed to fit in 19 or 23-inch racks. Depending on how you orient the mounting ears and tie bar and where you attach them to the remote and the rack, you can make the face be flush with the rack face, recess it inside the rack, or have it protrude from the front of the rack. Whatever works best with the available space and the placement of other site equipment. Your remote comes with 2 sizes of screws for mounting. The smaller screws are to attach the mounting ears and the tie bar to the remote. Attach the mounting ears and the tie bar to the remote first. Then mount the remote in the rack using the larger screws with lock washers. Once mounted, it is important that the remote is properly grounded. Remove the remote ground lug. Apply an appropriate antioxidant to the bare conductors. Insert the stripped 14 AWG ground wire into the lug and crimp it securely. Reattach the lug to the remote. Connect the frame lug to a suitable ground, such as the frame ground of the rack system or a reliable earth. Scrape paint off the rack connection point as needed to make sure you have a good ground connection. You are now ready to power the remote, which requires either a plus 24 or minus 48 volt DC power supply. First, find the remote's assigned fuse panel locations and remove any fuses in those positions. Next, run and dress the 16 AWG power feed wires from those assigned fuse panel connectors. Use antioxidant on the connector surfaces the same as you did with the ground wire connections. Next, remove the remote's power connector by loosening the screws on each side with a small flathead screwdriver and pulling the connector free. Connect the power feed wires, which need to be 16 AWG, to the power connector's A side with the voltage line feed in the plus position and the return feed in the minus position. Repeat the process to the power connector's B side if there is a second power feed. Then reattach the power connector to the remote and tighten the screws. Next, replace 3-amp fuses in the remote's assigned fuse panel positions. Then confirm that the remote powers up. First, the LEDs will flash for a few minutes. You will know when the boot procedure is finished and the remote is correctly powered when the green LED labeled DC remains lit. This concludes our video tutorial on the physical installation of the remote. Please proceed to Westell ISM Installation Video 2, focusing on making connections to the remote.